When we hear of domestic violence, our mind tends to automatically imagine a male being the aggressor. The belief is so strong that women often pass under the radar undetected. Today's case is of an unsuspecting criminal that hid behind fame, fortune, white privilege, and gender for the longest time. Courtney Clenney was an OnlyFans model who was oblivious to her violent narcissistic tendencies, which ended up claiming the young life of Christian Obumseli. Her trial recently began, and it's full of damning evidence and truly highlights what being in a relationship with a narcissist looks like. Stay tuned till the end to find out the deets about Courtney Clenney trial. Hello and welcome back, or welcome if you're new here. This is The Prime Crime, where we discover and dissect solved and unsolved criminal cases around the world. Today's case is about Courtney Clenney, a famous OnlyFans model who shocked millions of fans and followers with her cold-blooded crimes. But before we start, we would like to send our condolences to the people affected by the heinous acts committed by this individual. Courtney Clenney was born on April 21, 1996, into a wealthy family. Courtney's parents were sports enthusiasts when they were younger, which cascaded and reflected in their children. Courtney was always athletically inclined and had an impressive extracurricular record, participating in gymnastics, football, and volleyball. She was an expert swimmer and even knew horseback riding. From the young age of 13, she took classes in theater, art, and drama. This girl had all the proper means and the right exposure available to her. She grew up in Texas and dropped out of college to become a fitness instructor since she had won many weightlifting championships. She also created a vibrant social media presence and was well on her way to becoming a fitness influencer. From then on, Courtney rapidly rose to fame. She was frequently collaborating with other Instagram models and trending on YouTube. Gaining 1 million Instagram followers in such a short span of time had opened doors to many opportunities for her, but Courtney wanted more. By 2016, the British app OnlyFans had come out and influencers were making a fortune. Through a monthly membership, people pay for various forms of content such as photos, videos, and live streams. It has also gained popularity among adult content creators. In great shape, Courtney wasn't camera shy, so she went for it and was one of the top content creators on OnlyFans within the first year. Courtney made more than $3 million on OnlyFans, with her first million in 2020 alone, and then beat that with $1.8 million in the following year. Her life was what girls dream of: spas, vacations, fame, and beauty. After building such a successful empire, the only thing this queen needed was a king. And in 2020, she met the love of her life, Christian Obumseli. Christian, born in 1994 in Dallas, Texas, fell in love with basketball and football during his time at Murphy Middle School. He continued to excel in sports and academics at Plano East Senior High School. According to his football coach, Christian had a warm and empathetic personality. Later in life, Christian became interested in cryptocurrency and stocks, which proved to be lucrative for him. Despite his success in finance, he remained a compassionate and gentle man with a smile that could light up a room. That very smile caught Courtney Clenney's eye, and so began the fiery romance between Christian and Courtney. The couple had a typical honeymoon period at the beginning of their relationship. Everything was perfect, as Courtney could do no wrong in Christian's eyes. The world longs to see a beautiful relationship, so these two started gaining fans rapidly. With Christian's experience in finance, he volunteered to become Courtney's personal assistant to help handle her schedule and ever-expanding empire. However, things quickly turned a shade darker when Courtney began frequently getting drunk at bars. She would go out every night of the week and come home drunk. When confronted, Courtney would tell Christian that it was for clout, but in reality, she was getting dependent on alcohol. Over the course of their relationship, Courtney was charged with 2 DUIs. Her growing addiction, combined with Christian's exposure to her 24/7, the couple started getting into fights constantly. Courtney had become increasingly controlling and physically abusive. She would often hit him in the chest and shoulders. Even though he was a big man, Courtney was quite athletic and could really serve blows. His friends knew about this but would often laugh it off. However, there was an undeniable, uneasy feeling in the air. Christian was in a toxic, abusive relationship. In Vegas on the 27th of July 2021, Courtney called the officers to intervene in between one of their arguments. Apparently, she was afraid of damaging the room. During the preliminary questioning, she admitted to have thrown things like glasses and plates at Christian in the past.
Going back and forth, he was already upset with me. I was getting upset with him. We were getting loud. I was like, oh my God, we're gonna like do damage to the room or something. Not damage to each other. Like I really want to like.
But why would you think
that.
Why would you think that you were gonna do damage to the room?
I like throwing something, or like.
Did you throw something?
Did I?
Yeah.
No.
Did anybody throw anything?
No.
So why would you think that there is damage to the room to be made?
Because I've done that before in our house, and I.
What have you done?
Thrown a glass at him, plate, and I could just see, like the way that things were going, we were either gonna get loud, or I was gonna end up throwing something, or like get in trouble somehow. So is this like a overnight ordeal?
12-hour hold.
12-hour hold? Okay, there's a lot that happened that I didn't say.
She was later arrested and held for 12 hours. In January 2022, the couple moved to Miami for a fresh start. They moved into a luxurious 3-bedroom penthouse apartment at the Berkshire Riverview. Unfortunately, it was downhill from there. Courtney still got drunk frequently and continued her abusive tendencies. She would often say derogatory things to Christian, including some pretty offensive racial slurs.
Yes, and I am so sorry.
So shut up and let me f***ing slap you, dumbass! Find my f***ing phone and charge it.
I don't know where your phone is.
Find it.
Can you help me find it?
I want!
So why?
Find it!
Why? You have to go out?
No! Shut up, you went to go f***ing talk to her without talking.
I didn't go.
Yes, you did. You always want to f***ing. You literally talked to her without telling me.
Courtney, I was on a bike ride and she passed me and I said hi.
You're
Yes, thank you. Coming from Courtney, thank you.
I want you to get away from me! Get away.
On a podcast she featured around this time, she famously claimed with pride how she dated only rich black guys, how she didn't like being told what to do, and that she was toxic.
To be fully controlled, or do you?
I like to be submissive. Yeah, in the bedroom, yes. But like in my life, I don't like anybody to tell me what to do.
So you only want him to tell you what to do in the bedroom. Other than that, you don't want him to tell you anything.
Right. That's exactly it, yes.
So that sounds like you're a control freak with your relationships. Be careful with this one. She's gonna boss you around like
sweet toxicity.
In hindsight, the only reason Courtney didn't receive backlash for her statements was her fame and the fact that she was a woman. Courtney always showered Christian with presents after being incredibly abusive towards him, a compensating behavior that's quite common with abusers. In February, a physical altercation was caught on camera when she hit him multiple times in the apartment elevator. Christian was distraught and devastated, but as always, he refused to press charges. The building manager was extremely worried about his safety after this incident. Christian wrote her love letters after fights and left beautiful phone messages to come home to. He was a hopeless romantic after all. In one incident, Courtney stabbed him in the leg in an altercation, and yet Christian left her a doting message in an attempt to end the argument. It was clear he was the victim of financial, physical, and emotional abuse, and like many people in toxic relationships, he refused to admit he was a victim. Within just 2 months of moving to Miami, things started spiraling out of control. In March 2022, Christian spent 6 days on a couch in their elevator room in an apparent breakup before getting back together with Courtney. On April 1, 2022, the building concierge had to call the police again after witnessing a physical altercation between the couple.
Her boyfriend comes charging towards her, and we actually try to get in the middle of it. I just said, enough is enough. Police need to be called. She said she don't want police to be called. Last time we saw him, he was on the ground level.
Okay.
So
Just let me know when my chances to talk. I'm not trying to.
You just want to get into your apartment.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, but you told me I was
Time out. Let me talk. Okay.
I feel very
What's your name? Courtney?
Yes.
Okay, Courtney.
Why do you have something against me, man? I'm just trying to
What is anything against you?
It seems like
We're
you
trying
don't
to
like
talk.
me.
What else do you
I
need?
was told I was gonna get a chance to speak.
Go ahead, Courtney. What's going on?
Now's your turn.
Are you gonna listen?
An unhinged Courtney can be seen interrupting again and again, trying to be a victim, crying, incoherent, and emotional, just simply out of control. Perhaps at this point, there should have been some sort of intervention from a friend, family, or even police. Anything to give them a chance to breathe away from each other and take a step back. Allegedly, the two made up and got back together within hours of this argument. Unfortunately, this would be the last time they'll ever be doing so. On April 3, 2022, police were called one last time by Courtney. Her actions finally had irrevocable results. She had stabbed Christian in the chest, right above a tattoo of her own name. If that wasn't cold enough, listen to this 911 call where Christian is clearly begging for help, knowing his life has shrunk down to mere minutes at this point.
Operator Dallas, what is the address of your emergency? Hey, ma'am, listen to me. You need to stop screaming on the line and give me the address.
101. You're gonna die. I can't feel my arm. I can't feel my arm.
Ma'am,
so my boyfriend is dying of a stab.
Ma'am, what is the address?
Baby, I'm so sorry.
Shortly after, police came to a harrowing scene of Christian's murder. The once luxurious apartment was now sealed off for crime scene investigation, and Courtney, having admitted to stabbing Christian, was taken in straight for questioning. Courtney changed her tone and statement several times over the course of the interrogation. She claimed she swung the knife at Christian in self-defense as he was charging towards her. Call it the domestic violence prejudice or white privilege, but the police ate up everything Courtney served them, and she was let go almost immediately. She would go on to purchase a lavish $1.4 million home near her parents in Austin, Texas, in June 2022, just 2 months after Christian Obumseli was brutally stabbed. She also wired some money to her father, allegedly for safety purposes. Unbeknownst to her, a storm was building back in Miami, all set to engulf her whole. Christian's family knew about the cycle of abuse he was subjected to in his relationship with Courtney. There is no way he could have done anything to harm the woman he was so head over heels for, but the same couldn't be said for Courtney. They hired a lawyer and were building a case against her, detailing the years of abuse and violence that led up to this horrific incident. On August 10, 2022, Courtney was arrested in a rehab facility in Hawaii on charges of second-degree murder. Here's the most probable timeline of events on the fateful day of Christian's murder, according to Florida law enforcement. On April 3, 2022, the couple spent the initial hours of the day per usual, filming videos. At around 1:15 p.m., Christian left the apartment, supposedly to get some sandwiches for the both of them, and returned back to the apartment 3 hours later at 4:32 p.m. It is believed that during his 3 hours out of the apartment, Christian turned off his live location, cutting Clenney's access to his whereabouts. She called him at 4:01 p.m. and then went live on her Instagram. Shortly after ending the live at 4:33 p.m., she called him again. At the same time, Christian walked into the apartment with sandwiches. Between Christian entering the apartment at 4:33 p.m. and Courtney calling 911 at 4:57 p.m., she called her mother twice, each call lasting between 6 to 7 minutes. Since Christian was still responsive on the 911 call, it is believed that his stabbing must have occurred sometime between 4:33 p.m. and 4:57 p.m. Courtney's trial was set for February 6, 2023, and her motion to keep the trial private was denied. She was also denied release on bond, citing her wealth and high flight risk. She will be held in jail awaiting her trial. A plethora of evidence against Courtney has surfaced since her arrest, including her domestic battery charge in Vegas, her infamous elevator footage, multiple secret recordings by Christian, and several thousand text messages exchanged between the duo, highlighting who the actual aggressor was. The delay in sentencing and trial highlights the sad reality of power and privilege that exists for famous people, and we can't help but question the gender and racial privilege that it may uphold. Courtney's fall from grace and Christian's tragic death is a glaring reminder of the existing domestic abuse among men that nobody seems to address. Nobody will ever know what Christian went through in those last 24 minutes of his life, but we still hope for justice and peace. Stay tuned to The Prime Crime for more updates on the Courtney Clenney trial and for your daily dose of solved and unsolved criminal cases. Also, please like the video. That lets YouTube know you're enjoying what you're watching.